Well, a very good morning to you and welcome to this live broadcast of the National Assembly proceedings on this 17th day of October, the year 2023. And this is a live broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. This morning, the members of the National Assembly will be holding a sitting this morning. This follows a procedural motion that was moved by the leader of the majority party on the 12th of October. That resolved to hold a sitting on this Tuesday morning. And this is pursuant to the House Standing Order number 33B that indicates that notwithstanding, or rather the Standing Order number 33B, 3 indicates that notwithstanding paragraphs 1 and 2, this particular standing order is with regards to the hours of meeting for the House. This standing order is 30. There is 1, there is subsection 2, and there is subsection 3. So 3 of this standing order indicates that notwithstanding paragraph 1 and 2, the House may resolve on that part 3 indicates to extend its sitting time, or B of that section indicates to meet at any other time on a sitting day, or C indicates that to meet on any other day in order to transact a business. So pursuant to the House Standing Order number 33B, in a procedural motion, the leader of the majority party, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah, urged the House to resolve that they hold a morning sitting on this Tuesday of October 17th, the year 2023, and that sitting will commence at 10 a.m. for purposes of considering priority business as may be approved by the House Business Committee. Remember, on a normal morning sitting for the National Assembly, the sitting starts at 9:30, but this one is sort of a unique sitting that was scheduled to start at 10, and the House will sit at 10, of course, to consider priority business as may be approved by the House Business. Remember last week on Tuesday, when the country was marking Utamaduni Day, the House did not sit, and thereby, according to the majority leader, that may have necessitated today's morning sitting to consider business and enable the House complete or conclude on the number of businesses set for this session. And as you can see, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, is in the chambers. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good morning.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers. Order number 6, notices of motion.
You have it.
Okay, it's not working, eh?
Now it's back. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And apologies for the small technical challenges with the mics. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion. That aware that the National Dialogue Committee was established by Parliament through a resolution passed by the National Assembly and Senate on 16th August 2023 and 29th August 2023 respectively. Further, aware that the resolution outlines the mandate of the committee, which includes to facilitate dialogue, consensus building, and recommend appropriate constitutional, legal, and policy reforms on issues of concern to the people of Kenya. Acknowledging that since its establishment, the committee has made tremendous progress in exercise of its mandate and has achieved the following milestones: formulated and adopted the framework agreement, framed and adopted the statement of issues, unbundled the issues.
You're causing disturbance, Majority Whip.
Please protect me from the Majority Whip.
Majority Whip, take your seat and desist from engaging. Honorable Bowen can go.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the protection. Honorable Speaker, if you allow me to take that again, acknowledging that since its establishment, the committee has made tremendous progress in exercise of its mandate and has achieved the following milestones: formulated and adopted the framework agreement, framed and adopted the statement of issues, unbundled the issues and agreed on prioritization of issues, harmonized the unbundled issues, conducted public participation and stakeholder engagements in line with the requirements of Article 10 of the Constitution, and examine and analyze the memoranda that were received from the public and stakeholder submissions. Further, cognizant that the committee is presently in the process of considering the issues for negotiations and recommending appropriate constitutional, legal, and policy reforms on each of the framed issues, which are electoral justice and related matters, outstanding constitutional matters, fidelity to political parties or coalitions, and the law on multi-party democracy, entrenching the National Government Constituency Development Fund, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and the Senate Oversight Fund into the Constitution, and establishment and entrenchment of state offices. Conscious that the resolution as passed by both houses of parliament require the committee to report to the leadership of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions within 60 days from 29 August 2023, recognizing the need for the committee to conclude the consideration of the issues for negotiations, the process of making the appropriate constitutional, legal, and policy reforms on each of the issues as framed by the committee, and preparation of a report for submission to the leadership of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions and thereafter to Parliament. Now, therefore, the Houses of Parliament resolve to extend the mandate of the National Dialogue Committee by a further 30 days from 28 October 2023, and consequently, the committee shall be required to report to the leadership of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio coalitions on or before 26 November 2023, and thereafter submit its report to Parliament. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order number 7, questions and statements. Order number 8, the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, second reading. Question to be put.
Is my mic working? Honorable members, I now put the question that the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, be read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of Parliament to provide for public health facility improvement financing, the management and administration of facility improvement financing, and for connected purposes. Order number 9, Committee of the Whole House.
Order members. Order members, we are now in the Committee of the Whole for the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023.
Clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I propose the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 3, 4, 5, and 6 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Other members, I propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. We have an amendment, Honorable Oluoch.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we have carried out some consultations with the majority leader and my colleagues on this side who sit on the Health Committee. We have serious amendments which we want to make, but we take into account and are cognizant that this is a Senate bill coming to the National Assembly, and in light of the fact that if we do not pass it, it may have to go back to the Senate or to mediation. We have agreed that I withdraw these amendments and subsequent amendments on the undertaking of the majority side that the amendments proposed herein can be revisited in a small amendment bill after 6 months. On that account, Honorable Madam Chair, I would like to withdraw these amendments. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Oluoch. I will then propose the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 7 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Mover, Honorable Oluoch. Does this fall with the same fate? Same fate? Thank you. Therefore, I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. Mover, does it fall the same fate, Honorable Oluoch? Thank you. I now propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 10.
I propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo.
Thank you, Chair. You know, as we are very reasonable people who consult widely and make decisions that are in public interest and the interest for the general public. We are not partisan, so to speak. So after consulting the majority leader and the chair of the Health Committee and the members of the Health Committee from our side, we have agreed that we'll drop all the amendments I had proposed on this particular bill. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Oundo. I like the consultations this morning. I now propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. There is a second amendment by Honorable Oluoch. So I will propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Honorable Oluoch, are we doing the same as the rest? To be on record.
Yes, Madam Chair, it falls under the same fate. It is withdrawn.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 10 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I know there were proposals for amendments in clause 11 to 29. Just be on record, Honorable Oluoch, that all the amendments have been dropped.
Same undertaking, clauses clauses 11, 20, 22, and 23.
Honorable Luoch, kindly use the mic next to you to be on record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the same undertaking and upon consultation with the majority and the committee members on this other side, clauses 11, clause 20, 22, and 29 are withdrawn. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Luoch.
Clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, and 28.
I therefore propose the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, 27, 28 be part of the bill, and 29 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I therefore propose the question that the title of the bill be. I propose the question that the title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that the title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments.
I now put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate number 43 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Order, members, for the convenience of the House, we'll go to the next bill. We are now going to consider the Primary Health Care Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023.
Clause 3 and 4.
Honorable members, I propose the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 3 and 4 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 5, 6, and 7.
I propose the question that clauses 5, 6, and 7 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 5, 6, and 7 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 8.
I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. There is an amendment by Honorable Anthony Oluoch. Look for him.
Thank you, Madam. This falls under the same general consultations you made with the majority, and upon concurrence of my colleagues on this side, I wish to drop all the amendments proposed under clause 8, 9, 12, 16, 17, and 23 on the strong undertaking that the committee and the majority side will reintroduce these and relook at these provisions after 6 months. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Watch, you're on record. I propose the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 8 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Clause 9 suffers the same fate. I propose the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 9 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 10 and 11.
I propose the question that clauses 10 and 11 be part of the bill. And I now put the question that clauses 10 and 11 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Amendments under clause 12 have been dropped. I propose the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 12 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 13.
I propose the question that clause 13 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 13 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 14.
I propose the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by Honorable Oundo.
Chair, in view of our previous discussion, in respect of this, I drop all the amendments in respect of this bill that's on clause 14 and clause 19 for record purposes.
Thank you, Honorable Oundo. I now put the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 14 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 15.
I propose the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 15 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 16.
This amendment, I propose the question. It's on record that the amendment proposed by Honorable Oluoch under this one has been dropped. So I will propose the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 16 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 17.
Again, it's on record. The amendment here has been dropped. I will propose the question that clause 17 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 17 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 18.
I propose the question that clause 18 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 18 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 19.
Proposed amendment by Honorable Wilberforce has been dropped in this one, so I will propose the question that clause 19 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 19 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 20, 21, and 22.
I propose the question that clause 20, 21, and 22 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 20, 21, and 22 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 23.
Again, it's on record. The amendment has been dropped, so I will propose the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 23 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 24 and 25.
I propose the question that clauses 24 and 25 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clauses 24 and 25 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Okay, I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Honorable Oluoch, this was not in your list that you dropped. Are you on record? Mike.
Honorable Chair, it falls within the same ambit of the others withdrawn.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Oluoch. I propose the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Title.
I propose the question that title be the title of the bill. I now put the question that title be the title of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
I propose the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. I now put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Mover to move reporting.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that committee do report to the House its consideration of the Primary Health Care Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments.
I therefore put the question, which is that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Primary Health Care Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendments. As many as are of that opinion say aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker,
Chairperson.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate number 43 of 2023, and approved the same without amendment.
Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee. Honorable members, I now call upon the mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Mutunga to second the motion of agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Speaker, I second.
As I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Honorable members, I now put the question that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, be now read a third time. I also request the Honorable Robert Mbui to second.
Madam Speaker, I second.
Which is that the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, be now read a third time. I can allow the Honorable Dr. Nyikal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. We have passed an extremely important bill for the functioning of our health systems. What this bill is going to do, Madam Speaker, is that actually our facilities, level 4, level 3, level 2, and even level 5, are now actually being able to manage their own finances. The money will be ring-fenced. Even any contributions, even money from the counties will go there and they'll be managed. So it will make a big difference. This thing worked very well between the years 2005, 2008. But Madam Speaker, there is one point that we'll have to relook at. What we have done now and the amendments that actually were being withdrawn after consideration is that we have said that the district accountant or the county accountant will actually be a mandatory signatory. The problem that will bring is that a small facility, level 2, will actually now have to wait for that accountant to actually make the approval. Now, the best and how it worked before is that these facilities actually have the chairman from the community, the in charge of the facility, and that committee, they can actually use these funds. And then this accountant goes on regularly to just see how they are managing the funds. But since this is actually a Senate bill, if we start drawing back, we'll actually be drawing things back. So the agreement, and I think when that time comes, we should remember what I'm saying now. We can look at that later and actually release these facilities from the authority of the district accountant or the county accountant, whoever it is, so that the facilities can run. My colleagues, primary schools, secondary schools actually manage the accounts without referring to the accountants. So why are we tying the health facilities? So, but now that we have actually moved one step forward, I think we support, and then when the time comes in 6 months, let us all agree that we'll review and remove that small element so that these facilities can run on their own. Experience showed when I was in the ministry that the things that are run by the community do better than the things that are than the things that are run directly from a central positions. With that, Madam Speaker, I support.
Dr. Pukose, Chair, Health.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the House for passing these very important bills that came from the Senate, and of special notice to the Committee of Health for having spent a lot of time in the public participation and listening to and getting the memorandums from the various organizations. I want to thank the Office of the Majority Leader for giving the guidance on how this bill the two bills have been prosecuted. And Madam Speaker, I think the proposals that had been brought by Honorable Undo and Honorable Aluoj, I want to thank them for being magnanimous to drop the amendments so that we can be able to prosecute these bills in a timely manner instead of engaging us to go into mediation committee with the senators. I think this is the spirit in which we can be able to prosecute bills in this House moving forward. And the majority leaders has assured that we'll be able to, in 6 months' time, we'll be able to come up with a bill to make those amendments, and we'll be able to look at issues which Dr. Nyikal and others had raised, which I think are valid. The committee had also raised some of those things, and I think we'll be able to look at. And when we even go to the primary health care, there are issues about how the community health promoters should be able to operationalize. They should not go to the county public service board, because that will mean something else. So I think this is the spirit in which all of us should be able to prosecute any bills in this House, because we are all legislators and we represent our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Allow me, Honorable Speaker, to join the Chair and Dr. Nyikal in congratulating especially the members of the Health Committee, where I'm certain Dr. Nyikal also sits in, and the Chair, and indeed the whole House, for radically changing the architecture of our healthcare system in the country, and changing it not just radically but positively in favor of the people that we represent, Honorable Speaker. And I want to agree with Honorable Nyikal, Honorable Speaker, as he has stated, that indeed there is opportunity for improvements, but also speak to the Ministry of Health and our county governments. Honorable Speaker, in this day and age, there is no reason, absolutely no reason, as to why a small health facility cannot be integrated and to be integrated into the IFMI system, so that even where a district accountant at the sub-county level is a mandatory signatory, the officers at the health facility should not be curtailed from being able to process their payments, because they have to travel to a sub-county headquarters to get payments approved. With the integration of all these health centers, and I want to believe those are some of the issues that the Ministry of Health and our county governments must work on to ensure that all health facilities from level 1 to level 5 are integrated into the IFMI system, so that even the district accountants, who will be mandatory signatories, Honorable Speaker, are able to do the approvals online without necessarily having to engage at the facility level. Two, Honorable Speaker, is to speak to our governors and our county officers, chief officers, and the CECs in charge of health, that as they designate the AIE holders, they will designate at all the facilities from level 1 to level 5, Honorable Speaker, that they do so considering the expertise and skills in the officers at those levels. It not necessarily have to be a medical superintendent who is trained in medicine. They may need to look at skills, people who are trained in finance, accounting. And I don't say that because I'm an accountant, Honorable Speaker, but because you'll be managing finances, it will be important that they do capacity building, even for the medical superintendents who are medical officers, they may need to give them some little capacity training in terms of financial prudence and financial management so that they are adequately skilled to cater for the funds that will be under their care. With that, Honorable Speaker, I thank all members for the passage of this Facilities of Improvement Bill and the other bills, Honorable Speaker, that we are about to consider, plus those that were considered in the Senate last week and approved, even as I thank the Senate for having considered and approved our bills without amendments. Lastly, allow me to thank the Honorable Udo and the Honorable Anthony Oluoch for being magnanimous and dropping the amendments that they had proposed. And as I had committed, including the proposed change of name of the Social Insurance Health Fund that was proposed by Honorable Junet, we shall, in the course of next year, upon maturity of these bills and seeing how they work, have another bill that will make some of those small amendments once we see how they will have worked over those 6 months or so. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Leader, honorable members, bearing in mind that we debated this bill extensively, I'll give the last opportunity to the Honorable Junet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the House for passing this bill. Madam Speaker, as a House, we have passed 4 important health bills in this sitting that we are almost going to a recess to on Thursday. Madam Speaker, as you are aware, there is a huge debate in the country because under the Constitution of 2010, health was revolved. And people are asking themselves whether it was right to devolve health functions, Madam Speaker. Kenyans are asking themselves whether we made the right decisions when we were enacting that constitution by devolving health to the counties, Madam Speaker. Because majority of our health system, our health facilities are not working and functioning in the county level, Madam Speaker. And you know that health care is one of the most important things for any government, Madam Speaker, whether it's a county government or a national government, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I hope and pray that these new bills that we have just passed, that are going to be assented to shortly, I hope and pray that, Madam Speaker, they are going to revolutionize the health sector of our country. Madam Speaker, you will not know the importance of health until you become sick. When you get ill is when you realize how important it is to be healthy, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, I want to ask the House that we have passed many bills in this House, either in healthcare, in education, in ICT, in everything. Madam Speaker, this House must come up with a mechanism on how to assess the implementation of those acts after they are assented. Whether those acts are being implemented for the benefit of the people of Kenya, Madam Speaker. We legislate in this House, and I want to thank the Majority Leader. He has done a good job for the last 6 months. The first 6 months he was settling down. He was doing a lot of politics, but the last 6 months he has done a good job, Madam Speaker. And if he continues with this trend, the future looks bright for him. Maybe he can be my running mate in the next some few elections to come. So, Madam Speaker, we have, through the implementation committee, this House has a implementation committee, Madam Speaker. The implementation committee of this House must make sure that these bills that we pass in this House are implemented for the benefit of the people of this country, Madam Speaker, so that we don't just give the executive a blank check that we have passed these bills, go and implement it the way you want it. They implement what they want. They don't implement the ones they don't want, the ones that favors them, the ones that don't favor them. Madam Speaker, I want to give this task to the implementation committee to make sure that these bills are implemented. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I thank the House for passing the bills.
Thank you very much, Honorable Junet. Honorable members, I have confirmed that the House is properly constituted for the purpose of making a decision. I therefore put the question, which is that the Facilities Improvement Financing Bill, Senate Bill number 43 of 2023, be now read a third time. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many as are of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for public health facility improvement financing, the management and administration of facility improvement financing, and for connected purposes.
We move to the next bill, which is Primary Healthcare Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Primary Health Care Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023, and its approval thereof without amendment.
Mover.
Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Keeley to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I second.
Thank you, Honorable Carrizo. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee on the said report. May I go ahead and put the question? Honorable members, I put the question, which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Mover.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Primary Health Care Bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Irene Mayaka to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I second.
Honorable Irene Mayaka. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the Primary Health Care Senate Bill number 44 of 2023 is now read a third time. I can give a few members to make comments. I will give the first opportunity to the Honorable Justice Kemei, member for Sigowet Soloi. I think the Honorable Justice Kemei, you are not aware? The Honorable James Nyekal.
Chair, Madam Speaker, once again, let me just try to emphasize the importance of this bill, which we are passing into a law today. Madam Speaker, this is what is going to link the community with the health system. Madam Speaker, as leaders in our own rights, the community health promoters or health workers are actually the basic link. And I would appeal to all of us to actually support them and ensure that they are actual community members. These are people that should not be actually be transferred. They should belong to the community. And once again, Madam Speaker, I'll propose that when the time comes, we need to link this bill, because these primary health care promoters will work very effectively if they are also linked with the financing of level 2 and level 3, because these are the people they are going to work through. So that when we make those committees for level 2 and level 3, it is important that we actually incorporate the primary health care, the community health promoters or community health workers. If we do that, we will see a very big change. This is what actually led Ethiopia to lead. That is what made the current director of World Health Organization from Ethiopia get the job. So if we follow this route, we are going a long way, and Madam Speaker, I support.
I would like to give the Honorable Justice Kemei.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to the decision of this Parliament. Madam Speaker, first of all, let me agree with Dr. Pokose that in passing the bill and the previous bill, Madam Speaker, today, we've been so magnanimous as the National Assembly. Madam Speaker, without much ado, let me say the bill will lead to fundamental changes in the health sector in our country. I want to add, Madam Speaker, that we must reduce the bureaucracy when it comes to treatment of our people. We must reduce the time it takes for our people to be treated. We must use technology, Madam Speaker, to make sure that the services, the health services that we give our people are given in a fast and expedited manner. Madam Speaker, I do support. Thank you.
Dr. Pukose.
Madam Speaker, I once again want to thank the House for passing this bill, and more so my Committee of Health for the time they put to make sure that this Senate bill is processed and passed without amendments. Madam Speaker, just for the record for the members, the community health care promoters who are within every constituency, and they vary in numbers. Like yesterday we were in Kericho. Kericho has 1,600 community health workers. Bomet has 1,900 community health workers. These are people at the grassroots that they'll be able to, you must, as a member of parliament in your constituency, interact with them to understand how healthcare is being taken care of within your area. And these are key people in terms of early diagnosis of disease, prevention of disease, and also how they can be able to refer one patient from one level of care to another. Of interest, Madam Speaker, is the digital health bill, which was passed by this House, that it is now able to operationalize. You can be able to follow up a patient right from level 1 to any level that patient is being referred to, and you'll be able to know whether this patient has been treated and what is the follow-up. You can also be able to track down the supplies from KEMSA, all the way from KEMSA to the dispensary in your constituency, Madam Speaker. So I think with the passage of this bill, yesterday we also honored one of our great ladies of this land, Professor Miriam Were, who has been engaged in primary health care for close to 70 years. And now she's around 83 years, a professor of primary health care, professor of medicine. So I think, Madam Speaker, these are things that we should be able to interact. And I know with this, if we are able to put this in place, then this country healthcare system will be transformed. Just to quote the words of the Deputy President yesterday, he says that the results of this will be out in the next 6 months or so, and we'll be able to see how our healthcare system within our country has transformed from what it is to a better place. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I support.
Dr. Pukose, the Honorable Gikaria.
Thank you.
Yeah. The last one will be the Honorable Bayer. Then I hope from there we can put the question. Proceed, Honorable Gikaria.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. First of all, let me agree with the passage of these very important critical bills. Honorable Speaker, what Junet originally had indicated about the governance and the devolved function of health, and I think it is very, very important for us to talk to the governors and their executive, particularly the CECs of health. Honorable Speaker, as Dr. Nyikala had said, ring fencing some of these monies to be left within the either at level 5, level 3, or level 2 is very critical. Honorable Speaker, I happen to have been a vice chair of the implementation committee in the 10th Parliament, and we once visited Taita Taveta. And Honorable Speaker, when that, because initially that is what whatever was being received at that healthcare was being spent at that health facility. But when it was removed by the then governor, Honorable Speaker, the whole that healthcare facility collapsed. So I totally agree that this is a very critical issue, and particularly to the counties, since this is a devolved function. it is important for the governors to look critically at these bills when it becomes, of course, to an act, for them to be able to, and particularly, Honourable Speaker, about the emergency cases. Sometimes you find an accident, and sometimes they are not treated. So, again, this is going to address that, and I totally agree. I want to thank you, Honourable Speaker, and concur with all the other members. Thank you.
Thank you. Now the last one will be the Honourable Owen Bayer.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I want from the outset to say that these health bills that the 13th Parliament has passed are going to revolutionize healthcare in this country. One, the facilities bill will ensure that the money that is collected in these facilities is used to develop those facilities. And I want to categorically say that those very rural healthcare facilities, those that are in the interior, can for the first time have money to spend and to buy supplies and to pay for services such as cleaning up the hospital and all that. Honourable Speaker, that is a good move and it is going to help this country. Honourable Speaker, the primary healthcare bills, the community health workers suffer a lot. I have watched the CVSs in my.
Please consult in low tones so that we can hear the Honourable Bayer. You may proceed and conclude.
Okay. So the CVSs that are there in the rural areas suffer a lot because there's no support from any corner. But today, I am sure the CVSs in my constituencies, in Tezo, in Matangoni, in all the areas, are going to get help because of the bills that we have passed. But ultimately, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the Majority Leader and the magnanimous Oluoch and Oundo for having dropped their amendments so that we can pass this bill within the shortest time, so that as we celebrate Mashujaa Day, we are going to celebrate community health care. We're going to celebrate this new dawn in the health sector in this country. I thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honourable Owen Bayer. Honourable members have confirmed that we have requisite quorum in the House for the purpose of decision making, and I therefore put the question, which is that the primary health care bill, Senate Bill number 44 of 2023, be now read a third time. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as have a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide a framework for the delivery of, access to, and management of primary health care and for connected purposes. Order number 10, motion, petition on probable loss of investment in Cyton High Yields Solution Platform.
Honourable members, this motion had been moved by the Honourable Nimrod Mbai and had been seconded, and now it is continuation of debate. It has a balance of 2 hours and 18 minutes. Member for Sotik. Your part on this motion. What is out of order, Honourable Mbai? You are the mover of this motion. Please, can you give the Honourable Mbai the microphone?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. I only had one reason for my idea to speak to the bill. When we moved the motion, the petitioner, Honourable Atanti, had an issue when we moved the motion. The
Order, Honourable members. Order, Honourable members. The consultations are too high. It is difficult for me to hear what the Honourable Mbai is saying.
Well,
bearing in mind that this is his motion, I would like to ask that you consult in lower
Chief
tones.
Justice Kajini. Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. I was saying that when I moved the motion, the petitioner of the motion, which has a lot of attachments to the country and to the members, had a request for an amendment to the motion before discussion. So without urgency, I would request that we allow Honorable Atandi to move his amendment, which as a committee we support. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Very much, Honorable Mbai. Honorable members, I now give an opportunity to the Honorable Atandi to move the amendment.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Before I move the amendment, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the amendment is basically to reorganize the report to make it more effective for the agencies that we are asking to take to investigate this matter. So, point of order. I'm allowing the new speaker to settle. Huh? No one is listening. I don't care one. Thank you. Madam Speaker, I was giving you time to settle. Before I move my amendment, I wanted to say, Madam Speaker, that the microphones are not good. I can't be heard.
Order, members. Honorable Catherine Omayo, I know that seat is very attractive, but kindly let the members take their seats.
Yeah.
You are blocking the speaker from the person on the seat. It's actually disorderly. Is the microphone better, Honorable Atandi?
Yeah, I think this is fair. Madam
Wait, Honorable Atandi. Majority Leader, what is out of order?
Honorable Speaker, everything is out of order. Everybody is standing.
Order, members.
The consultations are too loud. Honorable Speaker, I just want to beg of you to please request the members who do not want to listen to Honorable Atandi to either use the rooms behind your seat,
Member for Garissa
or
Town,
the members' lounge,
take your seat,
or the tea place.
Order, Majority Leader, we hear you.
And
Order, members,
most
we
of
hear
them
you.
are conversing in vernacular.
We hear you, Honorable Majority Leader. Member for Kitutu Churches, take your seat. Honorable Mwangi Kionjori, take your seat. Order in the House. Honorable members, we cannot hear each other. Make the consultations manageable. Honorable Atandi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is the proposed amendment to the report of Public Petitions Committee, petition number 7 of 2022, by myself regarding probable loss of investments in Saiton.
We are a house of procedure. We have assented to you to move the motion, but kindly move the notice of the motion first. Then you will move the motion.
Okay.
At the debate level, you will move the issues you are talking about now.
Okay, thank you.
So do it procedurally.
Notice is given that the member for Alego Usonga intends to move the following amendment to the report of the public petitions.
Do not say your name. We know your name. Please read. I beg to give notice of the motion in that order, the way it's written.
Thank you. I beg to give notice. I beg to give notice to move the following amendment to the report of Public Petitions Committee regarding probable loss of investments in Saiton Hills Solutions Platform. That the motion be amended by inserting the following words. Subject to insertion of the following new recommendation number 4 after the expression 2023.
the Directorate of Criminal Investigations undertakes thorough investigations on the matters listed here under within 90 days from the date of the adoption of the report. A, affairs of Saiton, particularly on matters raised in this petition, and prefer criminal prosecution against any person found culpable. B, the relationship between officials of Saiton and the Capital Markets Authority between the period 2015 and 2021. C, the business dealings of the 49 special purpose vehicles, including the assets and liabilities, if any. And D, the business dealings of Mr. Edwin Harold Dande, including his assets and liabilities. Number B, numbering paragraph 4, appearing on page 32 of the report as paragraph 5.
Wait, Honorable Atandi, what is out of order, Honorable Junet?
Can't you move first the motion? Madam Speaker, I seek your guidance that we have a motion that is on the order paper. And Honorable Atandi is moving an amendment. Why can't we first move the motion, then the amendment can follow?
Honorable Junet, you are totally out of order. This motion had been moved, but we have the Speaker has assented for an amendment of the motion, which is allowed. And that is what Honorable Atandi is moving. Move the amendment.
I've already moved the amendment. I move. Madam Speaker, can I be allowed to continue by making my presentation? Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, as the person who presented this petition before this House, I would like to say that the committee has done a very good report in this petition. Madam Speaker, this petition was presented by two people. But when we went for public participation, more than 400 Kenyans appeared before the committee. And they were all enjoined in this petition because they were victims of this company. Madam Speaker, this is a company that continues to transact and to trade and to market its affairs. Madam Speaker, can you give me a better microphone? Madam Speaker, give me a better microphone.
Clerk, Honorable Clerk, we are straining with the microphones. Members cannot hear. We need that fixed. The IT department fixed the microphones. They are not audible. And then, because members, we are straining, kindly keep your consultations down.
Yeah. Madam Speaker, this is a very serious petition. I think the first on the floor of this House since the start of this session. And Madam Speaker, I want to say that the reports of this House must mean business to Kenyans. We cannot be a House that basically makes reports and the reports are not acted upon. Madam Speaker, this company called Saiton is a company that is notorious for conning Kenyans. Madam Speaker, when I brought this petition before this House, for the benefit of the members, I want to say that I was charged in court. I was taken to court by this company because of the statements I made during public participation that in my assessment, the activities of this company are akin to what pyramid schemes do. Madam Speaker, I was taken to court and I thank the judiciary because the magistrate who was listening to the case threw it out. Madam Speaker, this company has operated for a long time in this country. And what they do, Madam Speaker, is that they invite you to invest some money with them, promising you high returns. Madam Speaker, once you put your money in this company, then the money is transferred to several other companies. They call them special purpose vehicles. So by the time you go back to the company to Saiton for your money, you are told your money was transferred to a different company in which now Cyton themselves are not directors. Now you begin to look for your money, you cannot get your money, plus the returns promised. Madam Speaker, it is important to know that this company, the activities of this company has led to death of Kenyans. We listened to Kenyans who said that they put their retirement savings in this company, and when they went back to get the returns, they did not get. There are many Kenyans who committed suicide. There are many families that were broken because a wife took the money and invested, and they did not consult their husbands. And when the money was needed, there was no money. Madam Speaker, there was a case I listened to where a retiree who had placed their money here was very, very sick and they needed money for treatment. And at that time, their deposit was supposed to have matured. But Cyton told them that they did not have any money. Madam Speaker, this report is very serious, and I would want to beseech members to pay attention to this report. Because the amendment I brought on the floor of the House is supposed to help the DPP and DCI to ensure that these guys are apprehended. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge members that let us, for once, be a House that can come up with a report that can bite. Because many Kenyans are looking at us and wondering, what are we going to do? What are we going to do with Kenyans who have been robbed day and broad light? Madam Speaker, even as we talk, if you look at the newspapers, this particular company is really inviting Kenyans to invest money in them. If you go to social media, they are sending information. They are operating like there's nothing wrong happening. Madam Speaker, I want to beseech this House that the report that we have that was presented by the committee is a very comprehensive report. If this House adopts this report in totality, and we urge the implementation committee to ensure that this report is implemented, and the recommendations that have been put here, including pursuing the culprits, is indeed done, and we want to see people charged in court for hurting Kenyans, for robbing Kenyans. I think this is the work that we must do, Madam Speaker. Otherwise, thank you. I support.
Support. Honorable Atandi, you move in amended form. Get a seconder.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honourable Majority Leader.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, I rise to support that particular amendment by the Honourable Samuel Atandi. Because, Honourable Speaker, if you read the report, members will note there was a bit of inconsistency in the manner and the format the report was tabled in the House. Because in the observations, Honourable Speaker, the committee did find that indeed many Kenyans were defrauded by Cyton Investments and the associated companies. Therefore, Honourable Speaker, in some of the observations, they note even the culpability or the possible culpability of the CEO of Cyton Investments, one Edwin Dande. Honourable Speaker, maybe just for the record, it's good to note that Edwin Dande was my classmate at the school, in high school. And he's a very intelligent young man, well-schooled. But, Honourable Speaker, our personal relations to people should not override our public duty and responsibility to hold people to account when they defraud the people of Kenya. And that's the reason I rise to support the Honourable Atandi, that indeed the CEO and the management of Cyton must be held to account for the huge losses that they have occasioned to investors who, as the report says, were enticed in what seemingly was almost a pyramid scheme, promising Kenyans very high returns that under ordinary circumstances, Honourable Speaker, in the money markets you will not be able to do. But they did this, Honourable Speaker, to be able to collect money from gullible Kenyan investors who, as usual, Honourable Speaker, when you are invited to put your money and get a very high return, Kenyans get enticed to put their money with the hope that they will be able to recoup both their investment and the return they were promised. Honourable Speaker, you've heard the Honourable Atandi say that he was taken to court on account of what he said, not outside Parliament, but
inside the precincts of Parliament, within the precincts of Parliament, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we must, as a House, protect members of Parliament because our own laws, the Powers and Privileges Act, protects members from what they do in pursuit of their work as members of Parliament. The Honorable Atandi did not present this petition because Edwin Danda comes from his county or his village, or because the petitioners are his friends. The petition, Honorable Speaker, as you can see, are Kenyans who petitioned Parliament. And they are petitioning Parliament because they had reached a dead end. They go to DCI, they report, nothing is ever done, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, today there is a hue and cry. Honorable Speaker, if you protect me from the gracious ladies from Kiambu County conversing in vernacular, led by the member for Kiambu County.
I know.
Please tell Honorable Amuratha we are not in
Keep it down.
We are not in Kangoya Market in
Keep
Kiambu.
it down. Honorable Member, continue with your seconding of the motion.
Please advise that we are not in Kangoya Market. We are in Parliament, where people converse in English or Swahili, not in vernacular and distracting debate. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, Kenyans have been defrauded. Today there is a hue and cry in Mavoko County, in Mavoko constituency in Machakos County, because Kenyans who invested their hard-earned earnings in buying land, building houses, have had to see their investments, some their lifetime savings, come down as bulldozers on account of the loss of the case against Portland Cement Company, are demolished. Honorable Speaker, those people did not just fall like manna from heaven on that land. They were conned by people who made them to invest their hard-earned resources in land that did not belong to the purported sellers of that land. And Honorable Speaker, you will see many of them, including political leaders, Honorable Speaker, use what are called squatters in quotes to invade private land, subdivide it, then sell it to gullible Kenyans. Then when their houses are demolished, the same political leaders turn around and accuse the people who are demolishing that they are demolishing people's houses, yet some of them are part and parcel of the rot, Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Samuel Atandi, was saying, Honorable Speaker, had every right as a member of Parliament to present a petition before Parliament on behalf of Kenyans who have been conned. Honorable Speaker, he's not just Saiton. In the county of Kiambu, where the Honorable Wanjiku Muratha comes from, and Honorable Alice Nganga, they will tell you about Ekeza Sacco, another pyramid scheme that has defrauded millions of Kenyans. Then what these people do is seek political favors and political power. You see those who defrauded people through Ekeza, as much as before the elections were insulting William Ruto, then Deputy President, today they are all over recording songs of praise to the current president, imagining that they will get protection from the theft they have occasioned from the people of Kenya. We must, Honorable Speaker, as political leaders, decide that if we are fighting corruption, it must be by action. Honorable Speaker, the amendments we just did last week on the Anti-Bribery Act, Honorable Speaker, speaks to some of these issues that the Honorable Atandi is amending to. That corruption is not just in the public sector. Corruption pervades even within the private sector. People are registering companies with big names, well-educated people, some hiding behind big names like bishops, like that one of Ekeza Sacco calls himself a bishop. But you're calling yourself a bishop and defrauding Kenyans. My good friend and former classmate Edwin Dande of Saiton is a very well-educated Kenyan who went to the Alliance High School, proceeded on to a good university in the United States. came back to work in Kenya, but you cannot come back to Kenya and use your education to defraud gullible Kenyans. And this house must stand with Kenyans who are being conned. And the DCI, EACC must do their work to hold people to account, people who defraud Kenyans. Not just Edwin Dande, not the bishops of Ekeza Sacco, but even those who conned gullible Kenyans in Machakos County in Mavoko. They must be held to account, Honorable Speaker. Kenyans cannot continue to lose their hard-earned savings on account of greedy individuals who want to lead people to invest in pyramid schemes and land buying companies that have no title to the land they are selling to them, Honorable Speaker. And it's only by supporting the amendment by the Honorable Atandi that we can occasion, through the implementation committee, and making sure that all the recommendations of this particular report, Honorable Speaker, and others are actioned on by EACC and DCI, so that the day they can have their day in court. And Honorable Speaker, the courts must also act to ensure that the money they have stolen to people, because what they do, Honorable Speaker, at times is start one good investment, complete one housing project, so that you make it believable that this thing works. But then after the second, third scheme, the pyramid scheme naturally will collapse and you cannot pay back. But DCI, EACC, all other agencies must pursue these directors and individuals who defrauded Kenyans using Cyton and the associated companies to make sure that they recover the money from their individual assets, sell them off and pay the investors their money, plus the returns that they promised these people. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I beg to support and urge members to support this report. And it does not matter how you know these people. It does not matter, Honorable Junet, how you know these people. It does not matter whether Edwin Dande comes from Migori County. I know he comes from Rongo constituency. Please let us not support people on the basis of where they come from, how we know them. I say he's my good friend. He's my former classmate. I speak to him once in a while. But when it comes to accountability, we must have a culture where both in private and public sectors, we hold people to account in this country, Honorable Speaker. And I beg to support the amendments second the amendment by the Honorable Atandi and support the report as amended.
Have you seconded? Okay. All right. Honorable members, I now propose the question that the motion be amended by inserting the following words. Part A, subject to insertion of the following new recommendation, number Roman 4, after the expression 2023. Roman 4, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations undertakes thorough investigations on the matter listed here under within 90 days from the date of the adoption of the report. Part A, affairs of Cyton, particularly on the matters raised in this petition, and prefer criminal prosecution against any person found culpable. 2, the relationship between officials of the Cyton and the Capital Markets Authority between period of 2015 and 2021. Number C, the business dealings of the 49 CPVs, including their assets and liabilities, if any. And finally, the business dealings of Mr. Edwin Harold Diane Dande, including his assets and liabilities. And Part B, renumbering paragraph 4, appearing on page 32 of the report as paragraph 5. Honorable members, there is a lot of interest on this motion. I will give the first opportunity to the chair of the Petitions Committee.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First, allow me to congratulate my friend, the Honorable Atandi, for being alert on the contents of the report and going ahead to move a motion, to move an amendment, which to me makes the report more powerful.
Honorable Chepkonga, what is out of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 83. Is it in order for the chair to be given an opportunity to support a motion in which he had an opportunity in his own committee to make that recommendation? You should allow other members to speak to, because he himself failed, Madam Speaker. So he should not even be given a cherry to speak to this issue. In fact, you should put him out of order.
Honorable Chepkonga, This is a totally almost new motion. I'll give the chair the opportunity because it has been amended, not as moved.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's good for it to get to the knowledge of the Honorable Chepkonga that when a report is tabled before this House, it becomes the property of the House, but not the committee. So I'm just a member like any other when it comes to the report because it has already been checked in to the House. Mr. Speaker, I was saying that I want to appreciate my friend, the Honorable Atandi, for being alert to the contents and especially the structure of the motion, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you look into the report, what has happened in the amendment is that the responses to the prayers by the petitioner have been moved to the committee recommendations part, which as a committee we totally agree with because it's a matter of restructuring the structure of the content. Madam Speaker, allow me secondly to call this to the whole House. Honorable Atandi brought a petition on behalf of three Kenyans. But when we went down deeper to the whole thing, Madam Speaker, we found out that over 4,000 Kenyans have been defrauded through this scheme. And I would inform the House that I totally believe, I'm 100% certain, that each and every constituency has someone who has been defrauded. So it's a matter of concern to all the members, to the membership of the House. One of the reasons, Madam Speaker, we always have an option to table the report and get it forwarded to the Committee on Implementation. But on this one, we decided, Madam Speaker, to move a motion so that we can allow a broader discussion from the committee, a broader discussion by the House, because it's an issue of concern to Kenyans. It has been on papers, it's on social media. It is not something that would have been pushed a report from one committee to the other committee. I thought it was important we thought it was important as a committee to have the whole House discuss it and also adopt it so that it can be stronger than the way it came from the committee. Secondly, Madam Speaker, what I'm looking at, Madam Speaker, crime in our country has evolved. Cybercrime, any other kind of crime, and on this case, crime, economic crimes. People knew of the pyramid schemes, and people are running away from pyramid schemes. But pyramid schemes have been taken over by the elite, by learned colleagues, people who are in Alliance High School with the majority leader, and people who went to serious economic schools in the US, and they have changed the format of pyramid schemes to look like serious investment schemes, and this is what is happening. So, Madam Speaker, I would urge the members to seriously look into the matter, debate it, and we adopt it as amended by the Honorable Atandi. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Junet.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to oppose this motion as amended. If the motion remained as it was before, I would have supported. But when Honorable Atandi amended it, I am guided to oppose it. Madam Speaker, let us separate the two issues. Let us separate Mr. Dande from Saiton. Saiton is a company that is registered by authorities in this republic. And Edwin Dande is an individual, Madam Speaker. If we have a problem with Edwin Dande, let us face him as Edwin Dande. And if we have Saiton, let us face Saiton as Saiton, Madam Speaker. Saiton has many directors, it has many employees, but it looks like as people we are obsessed with one person called Edwin Dande. Madam Speaker, look at the recommendations that has been made by the committee in the report, Madam Speaker. The committee is very clear. Until when you see a member, a petitioner, bringing an amendment on the floor of the House on a report that has been made by a committee, it means it has not met the expectations of the petitioner, Madam Speaker. But it is the committee that has engaged the public. It is the committee that has engaged the people who are affected. It is the committee who has engaged the petitioners, Madam Speaker. But when you bring here amendment, it means you want to introduce things that have not been raised by the petitioners, things that have not been raised by the public that were engaged, things that has not been raised by the affected people, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, look at this report. It says, Roman 1, recommendations. The official receiver speeds up the process of liquidation and report to the National Assembly within a reasonable time. What does that mean, Madam Speaker? It means already there's this guy, what's his name? A receiver manager that has been appointed to handle this matter. What I think, what is on the ground is that this company, Cyton, might be having a lot of assets that needs to be liquidated, that might be used to pay the people whose money has been lost, Madam Speaker. Why don't we give time to the receiver manager to report? Number two, the report says that the Capital Markets Authority fast-track the alternative funds regulation. That means the CMA has failed its duties. How did the Capital Markets Authority allow people's money to be collected haphazardly, and then they want Parliament to go and look for that money on their behalf? Madam Speaker, this country, we have a constitution. We have laws in place, Madam Speaker. The institutions that are mandated to implement the constitution and the laws must work. If it is the DCI, if it is the CMA, if it is the central bank, Madam Speaker, it is not the responsibility of Parliament to go and look for people's money in the streets, Madam Speaker. The responsibility of Parliament is to legislate and do regulations for those institutions. Give them teeth to bite, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, when institutions fail and you want Parliament to come in and look to do their work, Madam Speaker, then we should abolish those institutions, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I know many Kenyans have lost their monies in different schemes, and I sympathize with them and empathize with them. But the people I am angry with today are the people or the institutions that are mandated to do that work of investigating, of looking for those monies, of regulating, supervising those institutions that collect money. These institutions, these companies that collect people's money, Madam Speaker, don't operate in other countries. They operate within the borders of this country, Madam Speaker. And these institutions have all the powers to conduct, to do supervision, to make sure that monies collected from the public are useful. So, Madam Speaker, as far as I know, Mr. Edwin Dande is a very brilliant man, as has been alluded to by the majority leader. He went to the prestigious Alliance High School, Madam Speaker. He's one of the best accountants and economists this country can ever have, Madam Speaker. But recently, when he started on social media criticizing some people, I don't want to mention names, now they want to take action against him. If there is money lost, let us liquidate the assets of Cyton and pay those people who lost money. If Bishop of Ekesa, took people's money, he's here. Why are you not arresting him? Must Parliament shout at the rooftops so that he can be arrested? Madam Speaker, this mob justice must stop. We must be a country that is governed by the rule of law and a country that is governed by the Constitution. And the institutions that are mandated by the laws to do their work must do their work. Madam Speaker, with
Your time is up. I'll give the member for Sotik. Member for Sotik.
Madam Speaker, I rise to support this amendment because, Chair, I think, as the majority leader has mentioned, this country must come back to normalcy. We must be able to punish those people who have siphoned money from the poor. And, Chair, I want to support what our majority leader has said. I was shocked to look at to watch in the TV the issues of Machakos. The people who are suffering are the poorest of the poor. And these people are innocent. We are punishing the wrong people. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I want to say that we must support the people who brought this government to power. Because the bottom-up approach which this government has taken is those people who are down there. So, Madam Speaker, I want to support the amendment by Mheshimiwa Atandi so that we can move forward. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The next chance will go to Honorable Susan Kiama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish also to put my voice to this particular motion.
What is out of order, Majority Leader?
Honorable Speaker, I rise on standing under 87-4. For the benefit of the House, Honorable Speaker, that says no member shall impute improper motive to any other member or to a senator except upon a specific substantive motion of which at least 3 days notice has been given, calling in question the conduct of that member or senator. Honorable Speaker, as much as the Honorable Leader of Minority Whip, Junet Mohammed has completed his contribution, but there is something, Honorable Speaker, that should not escape the attention of the House. That he imputed improper motive not on just a member, but the entire House. If you listen to him, Honorable Speaker, he said that this mob justice must cease. Honorable Speaker, the mob justice that he was alluding to is the amendment by the Honorable Atandi that is being debated by this House, Honorable Speaker, and the report of the House. And Honorable Speaker, a report of the House cannot be, and recommendations of the House cannot be mob justice. And indeed, the amendment is recommending what Honorable Junet was saying for investigative agencies to act. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I find it to be completely out of order for the Honorable Junet Mohammed to be imputing improper motive on the House and the House's recommendation.
Honorable Majority Leader, Standing Order 87-4 is very clear. It's on a member, and I have not heard it. And I think at this time, Honorable Susan Kiama is on her feet. Continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to also contribute to this very important motion. I must admit I'm also a member to this particular committee. And the case we are talking about, Madam Speaker, in the case of Saiton, is really robbery without violence. Because we have cases where Kenyans have lost millions of their savings in retirement by very few intelligent people who form very legal companies like what Saiton has done, but all with the main purpose of robbing Kenyans. Madam Speaker, it is very shocking that even when we thought that the Capital Market Authority would be able to regulate, ensure that this kind of theft would not actually happen, we were actually very shocked in this particular committee to find that companies who want to just steal from Kenyans, they make a choice not to register with the authority, and nobody has any say to follow them. So in the name of, Madam Speaker, of trying to control what happens in the economic scene, we realized in the case of Saiton, they only register one company legally, and they have another 5 or so unregistered forms of, I don't know whether to call companies or shades of companies that are actually used to steal from the Kenyans. Madam Speaker, I think this House, even when we talk about the implementation and all that, we must realize that there are people who have died because of the money they have actually lost in this particular Saiton case, the loss they actually have incurred. So it is a very serious issue that I would beg the House, as we even endorse this particular report with the amendment, I would actually request the implementation committee to pick it with speed and ensure that the few people who are left out of the 4,000 do not also die before we see the light of this particular report. Secondly, I've had one of the honorable members say that it seems like now, and we are realizing that from the public petition committee, when most of the Kenyans have to report their cases to Parliament, what does that tell us about the agencies we have set? to ensure that Kenyans get a fair share or enjoy their rights. It is very unfortunate. We have the ESCC, we have the DCI, but now the Public Petition Committee is turned to a court because most of these cases are not being addressed. And I wish this House we ask ourselves this question: what is wrong with our system? What is not working? And how can we improve it? So, Madam Speaker, I would wish this House treat the adoption of this report and even implementation as an urgent matter. Because out of the 4,000 people who are affected, some are dead and the few are alive. Because some took their retirement and all of it, 10 million, 15 million, somebody puts it in Saiton and you are told you have nothing, even including that house. So I pray, and I'm sure my committee members agree with this, I pray that this report is not only endorsed by this House, but the implementation committee picks it with urgency so the recommendations we have given goes into action. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Susan. Remember, members, we are debating the motion as amended by Honorable Atandi. The next chance will go to the member for Molo, Honorable Kuria Kimani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, and I would like to congratulate my colleague, the Honorable Member for Adagosoga, Honorable Atandi, for bringing this to the attention of the House and the Public Petitions Committee for executing this report, this petition, Honorable Speaker. Kenya, Honorable Speaker, has become a place where people are getting overly concerned about their savings and their investments. Saiton was and has been for many years where many Kenyans thought they had the solution to home ownership, to a project that will earn them a decent income. So to see this institution go down with billions, if not billions of shillings of these Kenyans is very disheartening. Honorable Speaker, we were treated the last few days to tears as we saw those excavators bringing down homes of people in Athi River, in Machakos County, Honorable Speaker. People have taken mortgages, people have taken loans, people have had their life savings go down into ashes as they watch. And this, Honorable Speaker, is the saddest thing that is happening in this country, Honorable Speaker. But who do we put to account for this? The decision by, or the amendment by Honorable Atandi to have this Mr. Edwin Harold Diane Dande personally liable as part of the committee recommendations is a very welcome idea, Honorable Speaker. Because what you've seen these people do is that they will open a company. They are very quick in making very lucrative advertisements all over social media, all over main print media, all over TV. They're very quick to make to have these celebrities do endorsements and tell us how good these companies are. And once they realize the returns they want, they quickly fold out the company. They run down that company. They sink that money. They use that money to live their luxurious lives. Then they reorganize themselves again and open a different company and do the exact same thing. And we've seen this not just Saiton. Saiton did it big time. But Honorable Speaker, quote unquote, we have all these buroti maguta advertisements going on in especially our vernacular radio stations and our TV stations. And once you go to establish whether these spaces of parcel actually exist, most of them do not exist. People have made deposits for land, people have made payments for land, but when they go to seek where this land actually is available, then they realize that that land is not there. When they go to take their title deeds, they are treated to stories and they never get their title deeds. So I will urge the Committee on Lands, Honorable Speaker, in their oversight role, in the duties of whether it's a land commission, all these agencies that are concerned about matters of land, to take this particular issue seriously and investigate all the other companies that are going down with people's savings, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the Committee of Finance and National Planning is coming up with a bill for regulating land buying companies. Because as you would expect, any institution that takes deposits from Kenyans, then they would have to be registered with a particular statutory organization. And key point is SACCOs. So if you want to take deposits, you have to be registered as a SACCO, and that way you become regulated by SASRA. But you have these land buying companies that are taking deposits from Kenyans and using that deposit to promise that they're going to buy land. But what regulation are they regulated on? So we have those businesses out there who are taking deposits from Kenyans, but no any statutory body is regulating how they are taking that land deposit and what they're doing with that deposit, Honorable Speaker. So I really welcome the amendment. I was wondering at what point we would have to hold a director accountable, and I was checking the Insolvency Act, Section 504, that says whether it is established that the directors of the company acted wrongfully or fraudulently to the detriment of the company's creditors in breach of these duties, the directors can be held personally liable or the wrongful transaction reversed. In this case, Honorable Speaker, this gentleman is personally liable for the losses incited, and therefore he must be held personally liable, and that I support the amendment by Honorable Atandi. With that, I beg to move, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Narok, Honorable Rebecca Tonke. Not on this, Honorable Mutunga John, member for Tigania West.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity to also support the proposed amendment by the Honorable Atandi. Honorable Speaker, we are speaking about an issue where more than 4,000 people are affected. And Honorable Speaker, when I look through the recommendations by the committee, I realize that if we talk about the receiver, the speed at which the receiver manager is going to work, how much time is reasonable? It is extending the suffering. Honorable Speaker, even if we say that we are going to fast track, what does fast tracking mean in this country? Honorable Speaker, even if we say that the Capital Markets Authority legislation needs to be changed, how long will it take to change the legislation? And finally, Honorable Speaker, I think we do not have debating alone this issue in the House without giving the Committee on Implementation teeth to bite, or attaching the right institution to do what they are supposed to do is not good enough. Therefore, I support the Honorable Atandi's amendment. Honorable Speaker, oversight does not necessarily mean that we should be looking at the submissions and then compiling the submissions. Oversight is by human beings who have brains that are working. And if the brains are working, Honorable Speaker, they should be able to propose solutions that are going to be realistic so that we stop this kind of stealing from the Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, we are looking at very educated people sitting and planning to steal from the Kenyans. And I want to focus the Kenyans on the name itself. The name reads Cyton High Yield Solutions Platform. Honorable Speaker, who does not want high yields? We are all going in pursuit for high yields. If we are going in pursuit for high yields, that is a title that entices the Kenyans to look deeper into it and probably even to basically invest. Again, we also look at who is involved. Do they have a name behind them? Are these people who are they people who have credence in the society? And in that respect, therefore, we trust them based on their backgrounds. Honorable Speaker, when I look at the Mavoko, as we watched the TV last evening, the suffering of the people at Mavoko, because people who are educated in this country, people who are experienced in investment in this country, sat down to scheme the Mavoko, matter. And people have suffered. I watched this lady as she programmed, she recorded herself going through her house, which was in Rabos. Honorable Speaker, it is not fair to subject Kenyans to such issues. We need to strengthen the Capital Market Authority, and before then, Honorable Speaker, I want to propose that the Capital Market Authority opens up a portal for Kenyans to report some of those issues that appear not performing. Many Kenyans are being conned every day. They do not know whether they're being conned. But when you realize that the title is not coming out, when you realize that there is delays, when you realize that you are getting stories, even from very well-known companies in this country, when you realize that the management is not appearing, after you have finished payment, you realize that management becomes aloof, there is already a problem. We are asking the Capital Markets Authority to open a portal, then we can report some of these institutions that are already stealing from Kenyans. There's a lot of stealing going around, and I think we need to strengthen the Capital Markets Authority. Honorable Speaker, without invoking the powers of the DPP and the powers of the DCI, we will not have finished. We need to invoke those powers so that you can take these criminals to court For all intents and purposes, these are criminals. So the criminals must be taken to court. We will not get to the end if they have not gone to court. The committee on implementation, Honorable Speaker, needs to be able to follow this up to the end to ensure that these criminals are already taken to court. The culprits have paid. The culprits are suffering. They need to be paid their money. Honorable Speaker, how can we help Kenyans? We would like to tell Kenyans to exercise caution whenever it comes to investment. In this particular respect, Honorable Speaker, investment in this country there is always a hand. We need to be careful where to invest. And that is why I would like to strongly propose to Kenyans, from now on going forward, we need to support the government housing scheme, which is clear and guided by the Kenyan laws and protected by the state, where Kenyans can invest and know that their money is going to be useful. Honorable Speaker, without the amendments from the Honorable Tandi, then the Committee on Implementation, the DCI and DPP, and when the courts have no teeth to bite, they needed to be given those teeth. I support.
Thank you. Member for Busia.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am so moved and happy that somebody has keenly cried with the Kenyans. When you look at how Kenyans wake up every day, they spend a lifetime wishing or wanting to own. And that is why the conmen take advantage of the thirsty Kenyans who want to own. Many, many things, including pyramids, have come and gone silently, and Kenyans have been subjected to depression. They have hanged. Some of them are still paying loans. We are witnessing houses being pulled down because somebody used them and took their money, but they have ended up losing. But the person who took the money is alive. We know him, but we just fear because of the connections they have. So this motion by Honorable Atandi is a loud cry for the silent majority who have been affected by this Saiton thing. So I stand also to support family, because anyone can be a victim, whether you are a have-not or the haves, and it's a high time somebody paid for the price of continuously wanting to siphon Kenyans' money and just fly away and go scot-free. And I also saw somewhere where people were saying the politicians are involved in this and it is going nowhere. But because it is in the House and we are the politicians, why don't we name and shame, and the court to take a stern step to make sure that we put this to rest, so that no other Kenyan is sold land or sold property, and yet that property belongs to the public, or that property is well known that it was preserved for maybe tourism or airstrip or something. Because we had also an issue where Langata Primary School, they were crying of their own land, but our president took it and we don't know what happened. So when we remove a speck from somebody else's eye, let us also ask ourselves, where have we invested before we pull down somebody's house's property? And that Saiton company, if there are shareholders with a lot of money, that money should be used to compensate every Kenyan who has lost property, because if their houses are going down and all their life, their children, everybody, maybe their energy was siphoned there, it's being done. You know, this is just too much even for me. I'm imagining I'm that person. Somebody just woke up in the morning and started demolishing my house. They must be compensated, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Gekaria.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. And I rise to support the motion as amended by Honorable Atandi. Honorable Speaker, it was sad to listen to some members, the way they were talking about, kind of defending. Honorable Speaker, if I read the recommendations of the committee, the very last one, it says, pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 208A, 2C, the finding arising from the consideration of the petition be debated by the House. And I think that is the right place where we are. And we can be able to raise other new issues that any person can be able to. Honorable Speaker, when I look at the report and the observations which were done by the committee, it is very sad, Honorable Speaker, that all these recommendations that were done by the committee, and most of them, some of the issues that were raised in the observations and the recommendations, which none of them has been implemented by Saiton, and it is just pure, I don't know even what to call it, Honorable Speaker. It is not right that we should, as a country that is governed by the rule of law, that we can allow these kind of issues to proceed the way they proceeded. Honorable Speaker, this report was signed by the chair on the 8th of May, 2023. That is a staggering almost 5 months since. One of the recommendations that had been given was, as per the recommendations, was the official receiver speed up the process of liquidation and report to the National Assembly within a reasonable time. Honorable Speaker, then we beg to ask, what is reasonable time? Because 5 months down the line, the receiver has not given a report. I want to believe, because if there was a report by the official receiver, then maybe the Honorable Chair of the Petitions Committee would have gladly indicated that. So you can imagine five months down the line, we don't have a report from the official receiver, and Saiton, as we are talking to date, Honorable Speaker, they are almost everywhere. They are in the radios, social media, advertising for Saiton and the services they offer. I happen to have been a victim, but I got my money back immediately after 2 months, and that is almost 4 or 5 years ago. And I wanted to inquire, does Saiton operate under which act of Parliament? And they avoided where the financial institutions are registered, because they didn't want to look like they are operating on matters to do with finances. And as Majority Leader rightfully indicated, that the CEO is a very brilliant person. And I think that is what he has read our laws, he understands, and he knows where the loopholes are, and he uses that. And when I was making that inquiry, I noticed that he didn't want to come out clearly as to why they didn't want to register under, but they went under the capital. If you look at under the capital market, Honorable Speaker, as indicated again by the recommendations that the Capital Market Authority fast track the alternative funds regulation for private market. And I think it is important. Even recommendation number 3 talks about the House amends the Capital Market Authority. So again, when he says the House, I don't know whether it's a specific committee, whether they're the ones, or it's an individual who should come up with these amendments. Because all these things, Honorable Speaker, are happening because that the CEO and the other concerned parties have read our laws clearly. I know they know where. It is unfortunate, Honorable Speaker, that under Observation 10, the investors were issued the corporate guarantee on the investment. However, the same could not be invoked. You can imagine, Honorable Speaker, as I go to invest, then you put some cushion, and that cushion is put in an agreement that should be guided and be used for me to be able to recover. And if that cannot be invoked, Honorable Speaker, it becomes very unfortunate. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, is that the CMAs, I think, has failed. They issued a circular, it's indicated here, circular number 2/2016, requiring for all the license intermediaries to cease their operations, and they have never.
Your time is up. Before the next speaker, allow me to acknowledge students in the public gallery, Macau Schools from Ruaraka constituency, Nairobi County. Allow me on my own behalf and that of the House to welcome them more to observe the proceedings of the House. The next chance will go to the member for Thika Town.
Madam Speaker, I am not ready on this one.
I can see Honorable Mashukuru is making sure that you're not ready for this. The next chance will go to the member for Seme, Honorable James Nikau.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm ready for this. Madam Speaker, I rise to support Honorable Atandi's amendments and the whole report. Madam Speaker, many of our reports actually end at corporate level, and therefore actual individuals don't actually take responsibility. And this is part of the corruption. As you are saying, these are very smart people. And corruption in this country has taken another level, Madam Speaker. It has taken the level of perfect collusion. All the institutions and the people you put in place are part of it. And they cleverly make sure that nobody has direct responsibility. It all remains at the corporate level and cleverly protects themselves with loopholes within the law. Madam Speaker, the private sector is actually leading in this. In this country, for a long time, we have not been successful in the fight against corruption because we have concentrated in the public sector and left the real root cause of corruption, which is the private sector. These are the people who design all the scandals, and the public sector are just players in a cleverly designed schemes. And in this situation where everybody is involved, it is very hard to put individuals to task. So, Madam Speaker, many reports will actually find that the responsibility at corporate level, and these people are smart enough and they want to be left at corporate level. And even in our laws, you find many times we are saying that we are putting provisions in the law which actually leaves responsibility at corporate level and not the actual people involved. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I think we have reached a level where the responsibility must go beyond the corporate level and go to individuals. Because at corporate level, Madam Speaker, all we do is go, like in a case like this, we go to receiver managers. What do the receiver managers do? They sell whatever little is left at the corporation, and that is what we distribute. And normally it is meager. It is all designed. Nothing is put in concrete property that can be sold so that the people who are affected can get their money back. And they smile all the way to the bank because whatever is sold is so little, it is distributed to people and the matter is ended. And the people who took the real money, the real wealth, are actually enjoying their wealth. I think we've reached a point in this country, Madam Speaker, that we must go and lift this corporate veil and go for the faces that are actually behind this. And Madam Speaker, this is why I support Honorable Atandi's amendment, because Honorable Atandi's amendment is basically calling for our institutions to go further beyond the corporate level and go for individuals and do it legally. We have the laws that can do that. They have the capacity to do that and find out. It shouldn't be made to look like maybe it's going for a particular person, although one person has been mentioned. But I know there are many people, so that if the appropriate institutions go into details, a lot more people will be found and will be held accountable. And these people have actually property that can actually be sold and given back, paid back to the people that are actually affected. With that, Madam Speaker, I support this report. I particularly support the amendment by Honorable Atandi so that we look for the people who took the money and they get it back, punish them, get the money back, and compensate those who have lost. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Farah Malim.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support this motion as amended. Mr. Speaker, the core function...
I want to confirm it's Madam Speaker.
Oh, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker. Thank you. I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. I don't know why I missed that. Madam Speaker, the core function of the Capital Markets Authority is to protect investors' resources. And the interest of the investor must be protected because of a law in this country that says limited liability. In law, it says limited liability, which means the separation between the promoters of an outfit, which is a limited liability, and the limited liability entity itself. Given an opportunity for people to hide under that, we will be having one fraud after the other in this country for the longest. And as Nikal has put it, there's something also called lifting the veil. You lift the veil and see the people who are behind that, and then you carry out the investigations. Those security, the Capital Markets Authority is supposed to investigate these things, including going to the sites of the construction and the assets that are held in place. If somebody comes out there and say, we have a piece of land here, we have so many people who want to invest, and so many people, they go to the books of that. The Capital Markets Authority is supposed to go to the books, find out exactly what's happening, and if there's any indication or inclination that there's a fraudulent activity taking place, then the Capital Markets Authority must protect the innocent Kenyans who are innocent buyers for price. The absence of that, when you don't have a Capital Markets Authority that's functioning adequately and very well, then you get into this kind of things. It's a fraud. It becomes like a Ponzi scheme. It becomes a pyramid scheme where somebody starts something and basically gets the impression, puts a very good house there for a few people. When these people buy, everybody comes in, and then you steal the money and you get away with it. The next thing you do is that you hide under what is called the limited liability clause in our laws here. So the Capital Markets Authority must be a hands-on entity that is able to investigate these things, and they have the resources, they have the capacity, they have the expertise, and this has got to be investigated on a permanent basis so that you protect. For example, people are getting their properties demolished right now in the river. Madam Speaker, why do we have to get into a situation in which wealth is being destroyed? You never destroy wealth. You give a grace period. You take time. You do the investigations. You see what kind of a remedial actions can be taken. How that was a public land. It's a public land in the sense that it belongs to East African Portland Authority, and East African Portland Authority is a government institution. And here you are destroying the properties of innocent Kenyans. The next thing is that property is going to be again allocated to other people there. That land will be allocated. That land will not be kept for East African Portland because there are no East African Portland is not a functioning, is not a profit-making institution right now. And they have probably the responsibility to offload some of its own assets for it to be able to realize the capital it needs for it to function properly and optimally. So, Madam Speaker, we say in my language, you cannot find a cows or camels that are stolen by the owner. If the owner has stolen his camels or the goats or the cows, and you're looking for animals that are stolen by the owner, is there a way you're going to find it? You can't find it. The owners of this country are the leadership of this country, ourselves and the executives and the judiciary and everybody. And all this crap, all this stealing, all this corruption, all these things has got at the core of it both the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary as what they call the complementary. They complement one another in this fraud on the innocent Kenyans. On the innocent Kenyans. And it's primarily because of that. We have to have a system that is going to change vote fast in this country. Otherwise, we don't have a country. We don't have a country. We don't have, Madam Speaker, can I have 1 minute? We don't have a country. We don't have a country. For information, look at the people crying and the wastage that is going on right now in the river. Look at Saiton and look at the 100,000.
You have 30 seconds, Honorable Farah.
And you look at all that. Where are we going? Are we waiting for us to get so tired that you have a popular revolution, people got to go out into the streets? Madam Speaker, we can't have this. Business cannot be as usual. We cannot keep on earning good salary, staying here as members of parliament, people in the executive becoming richer and richer, people in the judiciary becoming richer and richer, and the innocent Kenyans are suffering the way they're suffering. At one time, when I was a young man, I remember J.M. Kariuki saying that this is a country of 10 millionaires and 10 million beggars. We have a problem. Even the difficulty with which they put these resources together, the elite from Alliance High School, from Nairobi University, from the top Ivy League universities are the ones who are coming to steal from them. So this has become an industry. Drug lords and drug dealers are becoming governors and everything else in this country. So what is going to happen to the poor population of this country? Are we waiting for them to rise up against us? Politicians are not doing enough. Madam Speaker, I want to say that this has got to be, the government must seek the compensation for that. Insurance must have been there. If CMA had played this role very well, these people would not be losing their money now. All that money should have been insured. But because it has not been insured, and I'm sure that's the case, and that's why they're losing, because there's a complicity at all levels of the government itself. So this has got to stop. We cannot allow Kenyans being robbed and their hard-earned money and hard-earned properties being destroyed every day. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Teto.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to also support the amendment by Honorable Atandi. At least he has made the report or his recommendations. I would describe them as being specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound, and it gives the much-needed teeth to the earlier general recommendations that were made by the committee. Madam Speaker, from the onset, I would like to say that our country, the landscape is littered with these sort of schemes, and this is not the first time. From the days of DESI, we have seen very many of these schemes come and go, and it is very, very unfortunate that now as a country, we are starting now to run what I would call economic banditry, where these conniving, these very, very bright people who come disguised as businessmen come up with all these schemes, but whose only objective is to defraud innocent Kenyans of their hard-earned cash. And Madam Speaker, it's very important that as we discuss this, we should also call in order the various government agencies that are responsible for regulating our capital markets, for regulating our financial markets, and even for regulating some of the other schemes that we have seen being in the market. Madam Speaker, in the case of Saiton, this is an organization that is oversighted by the Capital Markets Authority. And even as we sit here as a house to make the various recommendations as to what should happen to the directors, to the company, and the way forward, we must call out the Capital Markets Authority, because when all these things were happening, and these things do not happen overnight, Madam Speaker, they happen over a period of years. These people advertise, promising Kenyans returns of 40%, 60% per year. And Madam Speaker, I wonder, unless you are selling drugs, where do you get such returns on a wide scale? Madam Speaker, I remember a company that was, asking Kenyans to invest in greenhouses. And a Kenyan was only required to invest 200,000 in a greenhouse. But the promised returns were 400,000 per year. And I would ask myself as a common sense question, as a common sense Kenyan, why can't they do the investment themselves instead of asking other people to invest it? So such information should quickly be picked up by the agencies. And I think here some people are sleeping on the job. CMA, DCI, NIS, whenever this information comes out in the open, they must be able to start preventive investigations by themselves and look for the perpetrators of these schemes. Madam Speaker, in the case of some of the SACCOs that have also come and defrauded people of land, we also have SASRA. But in this country, we have an unfortunate situation whereby some SACCOs are under SASRA and others are not. I think this is something as a house we must look into and ensure that every SACCO in this country, whether it's a land buying SACCO, whether it's a housing SACCO, all of them are under the ambit of SASRA. Madam Speaker, the real estate is now the new frontier for people basically stealing from innocent Kenyans. And the whole house has just, most of the people who have contributed before me have cited the case of, the Portland cement land.
which is also something that went on for years and years. And it is time that this House brings order to the real estate sector. And I am happy to have learned today from the chairman of the Finance and Planning Committee that they are intending to bring a motion to basically regulate this whole sector of land buying. Today, stockbrokers have an association. They have a stockbroker association and they have to be licensed by the CMA. Why do we have land brokers who have no organization that regulates them, who have no organization that oversights them? So, Madam Speaker, for me, I rise to support, and I go by the recommendations of the committee. Where there is criminal culpability, both at the corporate and individual level, this must be enforced. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Igembe Central, Honorable Daniel Karido.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I also stand to air my voice on this motion as amended by Honorable Atandi. It's very, very important amendment and motion. Madam Speaker, we have had these issues in circles year in, year out. There is not a single year that has passed without hearing of a scheme that has come to sink Kenyans' money. We earn in very difficult situations. Earning these days is becoming a challenge, and now having people registering some funny companies and coming over to steal from our people should come to an end. Madam Speaker, this will not come to an end until when we have those who are doing this business accountable, held accountable, and paying back what they have stolen. That is the only time when we are going to stop this habit. Madam Speaker, we have people who have taken this money, for example, the Citon. The directors are known, the accounts are known, and we should have a way of reclaiming the money that has been stolen from Kenyans through these fizzy accounts. Madam Speaker, we have issues with things like the pyramid schemes, where Kenyans lost billions of shillings through some funny schemes that were just set up purposely to steal from the Kenyans. We have banks, whereby Kenyans have deposited their money, and the other day you go on withdrawing, you find the bank has closed down. Now is the high time that we stop this, and you can only stop this by holding those who are accountable, responsible, and forcing them to pay. I think it's also an eye-opener to the Kenyans. Let's not have somebody coming telling you that invest 2 million and get 3 million. I think we should not go for these easy deals whereby we are running to earn money which is not there. The Kenyans should also learn, because in every corner you'll find somebody whose money has been stolen in one or the other because of being promised heaven which does not exist. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the Capital Authority should take also responsibility in regulating these financial organizations. And I think it's a high time that the government of Kenya also opens their eyes through the institutions, NSIS and the criminal departments, to make sure that whoever comes to invest is investigated thoroughly. And we prove that they are people of sound mind, they are people with good records, and they have no history of looting from other nations. Because these things have been coming in and out, and there is no way we can bring it to an end unless the authority takes the responsibility. And Madam Speaker, we should not have the big fish. Even if with some big fish, there is always a trap even for big fish, that we don't have to be explaining that this and that is being protected by this and that's why we're having these lootings. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I'm just supporting this motion as amended by Honorable Atandi, and especially this on Citon. We have we already have many Kenyans, and even now they are continuing to pay the money. I wonder how they are continuing to pay the money when they already who paid earlier have had their money sunk. I think the first step is to make sure that it does not continue to steal from more Kenyans before even reclaiming what has already been stolen. And I think this should be the first step that the government should take to make sure that this institution is already closed, so that it doesn't continue inviting more Kenyans. And you know, everybody in Kenya likes to make a shilling. So wherever they hear that you are making a shilling here, they rush for it. Someone just taking loans, others selling their assets to go for this money. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I support this motion as amended, and thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Member for Nyeri.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support Honorable Atadi because I'm a victim. And I'm a victim because one of my sisters took a loan in 2019, 3.4 million, and she invested the money in Saiton. And now the worst scenario, it's Saiton, they are still progressing with their projects. They are advertising all over the media, and they are telling people how they are supposed to invest in Saiton. So, Honorable Speaker, what I want to say, the Director of Criminal Investigation should take responsibility and deal with the owner of that company. It is very, very unfortunate because you can imagine 4,000 Kenyans. They were just trying to make money. They were trying to see how they can go on with their life. And you know what Saiton was doing? They were collecting the money from the investors, and then they were using another company. They were doing houses in another company. So they progressed very well, but the worst, they are still out there. Honorable Speaker, if you go through the social media, if you go through the radio stations, they're still advertising and collecting money. So me, what I think, we should not allow these people to continue doing the same project. We should make sure that all their assets are frozen so that they refer the money to the owners. It is not right, and it is not we should not allow that to continue, because now, you remember, like this gentleman from Thika, I remember I had gone to support I had gone to support Alice Nganga in Thika, Gakuya. You know Gakuya, Gakuyo did the same. And he went away with that money. So, as members of parliament, it is our responsibility to fight for our people. So, Honorable Speaker, I support Atadi, and it is long overdue. Let's try and do our best and make sure that the people have gotten their money back, and we should not allow them to continue doing what they are doing. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Kisii, Honorable Doris Donya.
It's not okay. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I support the amendments with reasons. I have a friend who participated in this saga. When they learned that it was not fruitful, they went to ask for a refund. What was so disappointing is that they were told, you will not have your 100% refund. This will come, you must pay a penalty. Now, I'm wondering, you've given someone, you've paid for something, they've taken long for you to receive what you had paid for, as if the consumers don't know their rights. You want to still take something from what they had paid you while you've not given them what they wanted. To my thinking, Madam Speaker, this Saiton CEO must pay double to these people who had invested and yet they've not received what they paid for. But instead, he's super rude. I just want to compare him, Madam Speaker, with our hospitals' parking areas. You go to hospital, you pay the money to see the doctor, maybe 5,000 or 2,000 as appointment fee. You've seen the doctor, you've been given the receipt. You are walking out of the hospital, you are told to pay for parking. This is how these people steal from Kenyans. When you ask them why you are paying for parking, they say that is one way of regulating people because we will have people who will come and park here. But I have the hospital, the receipt that I've received from the hospital. That should actually be my exit from that entry. Kenyans, because I don't know our laws are not properly stipulated, people are stealing, even from the sick, left, right. You go to schools, you are asking for contractors, they supplied maize 2 years ago. No one is helping these people. We come here, we speak day after day, day after day, nothing is done. Madam Speaker, the Saiton story has even still made me to remember about Kisii County. Contractors have done the work for the last three years. When they go for the claim of their money, they are told, we have to scrutinize you afresh. Yet they have the working things, everything. So I don't know how we will ever help our people, Madam Speaker, but to this one, for him to stop running the advertisements that he's doing, the police officers have to visit his premises and close them down. That will be a lesson to other unscrupulous people who don't protect the consumers. You've given your money, you've bought land. You go to the Ministry of Land, they tell you that your title deed is not legit. Two people have the same copy. Then we say we are fighting for the needs of the poor Kenyans. This one should just start serving as an example, Madam Speaker. We don't want to see any advertisement from Saiton, even as we break for lunch. Because the more he continues, you know, advertisements, Madam Speaker, are very funny. Even if you want to advertise for maybe some face cream, there are people who've used that face cream, but their faces still have not, they are not smooth. But they will go and look for a smooth lady, fake. They come and pretend, oh, she has used our cream, she's very soft, very good. Those advertisements. But when you go to the real people who are using that cream, my face is even smoother than the ones who've been using that cream. So these things should even be checked too and confirm that what you are selling to the people is what it should not be vitu kwa ground ni tofauti. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for North Imenti, Honorable Rahim Dawood.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want to join my colleagues in supporting the amendment by Honorable Atandi. Madam Speaker, I hope this amendment and the whole report will get the justice it deserves. Madam Speaker, we've had a report which was given by Honorable Francis Nyenze, the late member of Kitui West. He did a report in 2009, which he gave to the minister at that time, the late Jeremiah Nyaga, regarding a task force on pyramid schemes. Madam Speaker, that report specified 270 pyramid schemes at that time in 2009, and I believe now we have got more than that. Madam Speaker, 8.2 billion shillings had been lost to pyramid schemes. And Madam Speaker, it is a pity we are talking about the same kind of pyramid schemes as of today, it being 2023. Because, Madam Speaker, at that time, the pyramid schemes which were there, DESI, went down with about 2.4 billion shillings, Madam Speaker, and it was run by George Odinga Donde, the late, I'm told. Madam Speaker, we need to get to the bottom of this pyramid scheme thing, because there were recommendations, and I'm wondering if those recommendations were ever taken up. Because there was a recommendation in that report that the DCI investigate, and within 6 months it reports what it has done. Madam Speaker, at that time, when they were doing the report, the 8.2 billion which was lost, there was 5 billion still frozen in the CBK. And Madam Speaker, we need to know how much money Sinton have got at the CBK and other banks which are frozen, because there would be no point which money has been frozen in CBK or in the banks cannot go back to the people who deserve it and who have invested. Madam Speaker, about 4 or 5 years back, when I was looking for a property in Nairobi, and I was introduced to Sinton, and apparently that property I could not buy it because there were none available. And they even promised me, they told me, now we cannot give you the property. If you put the money in Sinton, you will get 18% interest, whereas at that time, in the bank, you could only get 7% maximum. So, Madam Speaker, I'm just lucky that I did not invest in Sinton at that time. Madam Speaker, we need at that time there was a suggestion that there would be an anti-pyramid scheme authority. That was in the year 2010, the minister had put in place. Madam Speaker, I would wish the Public Petitions Committee, together with the Implementation Committee, looks at that report and sees if there is a chance, or Honorable Atandi can probably bring that bill to Parliament, that there is established an anti-pyramid scheme authority which will look into all these pyramid schemes so that people can get their money. Madam Speaker, we need to have the CBK give us all the frozen money for pyramid schemes so that we know where we stand as a country and people can get their money back. With those few remarks, Madam Speaker, I hope and pray that what we are passing today will be implemented as soon as possible and the CID does their job. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, you realize that we have been debating the amendment. I will put the question on the amendment and then we will continue with the debate on the motion as amended. That is the right way to do it. So I will put the question that the motion be amended by inserting the following words. Part A, subject to insertion of the following new recommendation 4 after the expression 2023. Number 4, the Directorate of Criminal Investigation undertakes thorough investigations on the matters listed here and within 90 days from the date of the adoption of the report. A, affairs of Saiton, particularly on the matters raised in this petition, and prefer criminal prosecution against any person found culpable. B, the relationship between officials of Saiton and the Capital Markets Authority between the period 2015 and 2021. And C, the business dealings of the 49 CPVs, including their assets and liabilities, if any. And finally, the business dealings of Mr. Edwin Harold Dayan Dande, including his assets and liabilities. And number B, renumbering paragraphs 4 appearing on page 32 of the report as paragraph 5. Will as many of that opinion say aye? Will as many of our contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. We will continue with the debate, and the next opportunity will go to the member for Westlands, now debating the motion as amended.
Madam Speaker, thank you. I also want to support this report, Madam Speaker, as amended. Madam Speaker, Kenyans, we are a country governed by the rule of law. But we have let, Madam Speaker, crooks who are running around, Madam Speaker, fleecing Kenyans, unsuspecting Kenyans who have invested their money, their hard-earned money, Madam Speaker, and then they just end up to nothing. Madam Speaker, I was approached by these Saiton people to invest in this company. I was just lucky that just before I made my decision, I saw an item on news about the company being investigated for, Madam Speaker, for fraud. And when I called them the following day, they said, no, they're just, these are people who are just fighting us, but we are a credible company, blah, blah. Madam Speaker, I had just seen a red flag, so I kept off. Madam Speaker, there are many unsuspecting Kenyans who fell victim of this company, and many others, Madam Speaker. And there are others, Madam Speaker, who are going around also crapping public land, left, right, and center. Madam Speaker, as we speak, there are people who have come in my constituency and crapped a school land and demolishing the property of the school with impunity. And we have asked the police, Madam Speaker, to stop these people, and they just stand and watch. We don't know why. Who are these people, how powerful they are, that they can just do anything they want. They come in a broad daylight and demolish property. And what we are seeing, Madam Speaker, even in Mafoko, what is going on, Madam Speaker? These people did not invest on that land without the watchful eye of the government. People sold land and they were given title deeds and all that, Madam Speaker. They have invested heavily. And now it just comes one day, someone wakes up from a slumber and orders demolition of property, which is unacceptable, Madam Speaker. The Kenyans who have invested in this place, they must be compensated. These people who have taken money from people, this site on company, Madam Speaker, they must be forced to return the money to the Kenyans who have invested. We must protect Kenyans who are investing their hard-earned money in property, Madam Speaker, that the money should not just be taken away and people just walk scot-free. We just want to make sure that, Madam Speaker, what the amendment that has been brought to this report, Madam Speaker, it is far-reaching, and we must, as a House, Madam Speaker, make sure that these culprits are dealt with and brought under the law, and, Madam Speaker, that Kenyans who have lost money should be compensated, Madam Speaker, with the investment that are already there. If there's no that, Madam Speaker, those people should go and be jailed and we face the music of the law. And, Madam Speaker, others who are like them, who are also forming companies, and that seems to be the easier way to make money. People just come and invest. The companies buy land, and the companies that, Madam Speaker, pretended to be coming up with all manner of things. So, Madam Speaker, I think this is a good amendment, a good report. With the amendment, Madam Speaker, then we need to see implementation. That the reports, as Madam Speaker, passed by this House should be implemented to the letter, so that all these criminals are brought to book and the Kenyans who have lost money, Madam Speaker, be compensated. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Teso South, Honorable Mary Emase.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this very important motion. Madam Speaker, I also would have become a victim to Saiton investment, because I remember when it was founded in 2014, they had such an aggressive marketing strategy, very appealing, very attractive products. But I thank God I didn't fall prey. But I empathize with many Kenyans who have lost their monies, because many Kenyans fell prey to this trap, because they were so promising. They would call you, they advertised, they promise you very high returns where there are no risks. And I think that should always be the red flag. When you Kenyans have to know, when you are promised very high returns on an investment with no risks, then you need to think twice before you invest. Madam Speaker, like I've said, and I've had many members allude to, Kenyans borrowed money. Some have made savings over the years to be able to invest in this Saiton investment. And today I must say I'm so saddened by the unfolding events that have resulted to losses. And I think now as legislators, the questions we must ask ourselves, what is the way forward? And that's why I support the report as amended by the committee. What is the way forward? And I think the priority should be how the Kenyans, the innocent Kenyans who have invested a lot of money in these Saiton investments, can recover their money. If it is liquidating the assets to be able to raise funds to pay off the investors in the Saiton investments, then let that be. And secondly, as legislators, we also have to ask ourselves, what are the lessons? Because we see these fraudsters everywhere. In Machakos County, we know of land grabbers who grab land using goons. Then they allocate the land to their cronies, to their supporters. Then they sell to unsuspecting Kenyans. For how long? And these fraudsters are everywhere. Innocent Kenyans, even in our villages, receive messages every day, emails, that you've won some kind of money. And before you claim it, you need to pay this amount of money. So many of our people are losing money to fraudsters. How are we going to stop the trend Because it has to stop. At some point, it has to stop. And I just want to tell Kenyans, when you were invited to an investment where you're being promised so much, like Seaton was promising 18%, at no risk, think twice. When you are being pressured into an investment with a promise that if you do not act immediately, the opportunity, you lose the opportunity, think twice. When you are being told you've won money for a competition you did not enroll, please think twice. Who would be wanting to give you money for a competition you did not participate in? Or you're being told to pay a fee to claim some gift where is free money. Kenyans, we need to think twice. Conmen are everywhere. They are around us. And you'll be told, and or if it's an investment where you're being told, the more people you enroll, you bring into that business, the more you earn. Please know that that is a scam. You are being conned. So members, let's support the report. I support it so that we can put order in some of these investments. And going forward, I think we need to relook at the legislation. If you are getting into an investment that is not regulated, how can an ordinary Kenyan get to know that this organization is properly registered, it is regulated, so that their rights as clients or customers to that organization are protected? Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I support.
Thank you. Member for Kitui West, Honorable Edith Nyenze.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this opportunity to support the report by the Public Petitions Committee as amended by Honorable Atandi. Let me from the onset say that I wish and pray that this report will go a long way in assisting Kenyans who have been deprived of their hard-earned money. As Ndawuda has said, there was a pyramid scheme, a report which was done from a task force which was chaired by Francis Nyenze, who is late. And during that time, so many people had lost their lives because we are retired people who had actually put their money where they thought they were saving, but they lost a lot of money. And up to now, I don't think that report has been implemented. So I hope that this report this time will actually be implemented. Let me note that the former, the Saiton employees were former employees Saiton directors. Some of them were former employees of Britam, and the questionable credibility that they were licensed by CMA after having a case in court for over 9 years. So CMA is supposed to actually license and regulate the money market. And since they are supposed to regulate the money market, we expect them to ensure compliance with the guidelines. We expect them to be experienced enough to see pitfalls in these investments, and those ones who are interested in the investments, we expect them to do due diligence so that they can help the Kenyans save in the right vehicles. But they licensed Saiton, even though there was that case of these employees having worked for Britam and having questionable credibility. So CMA has something to answer to Kenyans as to why they licensed the Saiton directors. Then, Madam Speaker, I also note that the investment of in the money market is not as safe as investing in banks and also as in circles. And this is a caution to our Kenyans or to our interested investors so that they can get guidance on where to invest, proper guidelines on where to invest to get better returns. But we note that the site on directors, I don't know whether they end in mind really to make money for these interested investors, or they wanted to con them. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the very many special purpose vehicles of investment. And this is a way of conning, because you could invest in this vehicle, maybe for real estate. Then next time you advise that you can now get into another investment vehicle. And this means now changing the initial contract. And if you change the initial contract of investing in real estate to investing in another vehicle, that means now you can't claim for your money. Now you actually lose, because this would be a different vehicle. So that's why I'm saying that I don't know whether the intention was to really help them invest and get money, or it was to con them. So the report, I support the report that the CEO should be held personally responsible for this, for the loss of funds, for the loss of investments, and then his property should actually be sold and money returned to the rightful owners. So I would also advise, put a word to the investors, interested investors, especially those.
Your time is up. Member for Gatundu South.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this report. And from the get-go, I want to say that I support the amendments presented by, or the motion as amended by Honorable Atandi. First, because, Madam Speaker, this House has a responsibility to protect the citizenry of this country. People look upon this House to make decisions and to make laws that protect them. And, Madam Speaker, when I look at Article 35 or Section 35 of the Media Council Act, it gives, or it behooves upon the members and the practitioners of media to have truth or truthful information going out to the public. When people come and lie and give falseful information to members of the public on TV and radio stations, and people who are taken to have credibility, the entire morning are telling Kenyans how they're going to make millions of money and how they're going to reap from investments that they know very well. It's con, it's theft, and we're just losing money. We are getting to a point where people will no longer have trust in our business enterprises as they are. And before we get there, Madam Speaker, we must stop this and nip it at the bud. Madam Speaker, we have a company, other than just this Saturn. We have already a company that has taken money from unsuspecting Kenyans. People have been crying. People come to my office every day. There is a gem highway project in Juja that is now a forest. It has been abandoned after people put in their money. And these people know very well that they are not going to finish these projects, but they take money and they go to the bank using the same project, they take loans, and then they keep this money, and every time these people who invested go to them, they tell them, this is the project, we are going to finish it. But they know it's not possible to finish it. So, Madam Speaker, the committee must help and must hold, on this House, must make sure that the peoples and perpetrators of these heinous acts are held responsible. Personally, this Edwin Dange must be criminally held liable, and he must go to jail. Because, well, I do not want to do the work of the courts, but it is clear for everyone to see, it is out there, the writing is on the wall, that these people went, choreographed a plot and a ploy to take people's money. Madam Speaker, we are getting into a very serious, business danger, where people now are afraid of putting their monies anywhere. You put your money in this group or in this DESI kind of projects in Azama. as they say. You put it in housing, it goes. You put it in education, it goes. We have a responsibility to protect these people. And, Madam Speaker, I just want to say that probably we need to go further than just interrogate this site-on business and look at it in isolation. We probably need to put all these land buying companies together and make sure that before you touch anybody's money, to pretend to want to invest it or even build a house using that money, that we have an organization or an institution that is able to check them. They must also put deposits with the CBK or relevant authorities where they put money so that when they do not deliver to the people they're taking money from, then they are capable of refunding these people. If we say that we're going to, of refunding the people who are affected, if we say that we put these people under receivership, they have loans. So between the banks that advanced them billions of money and between the people who went to their banks and also took loans and give this money or took their savings, who is going to benefit first? It means that even putting them under receivership will still not solve these problems. So we must stop this and nip it at the bud and stop it from happening in perpetuity. We have so many companies and everybody who just wants to steal people's money just comes and says, now I've started a land selling company, please bring your money. So please, Madam Speaker, I support this report and we want to see something that goes beyond the words and we see action and we want to see these people go to jail. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Member for Moiben.